Okay, this problem asks us to sketch the graph of y equals log sub 7 of x. So y equals log sub 7 of x. Well, one thing we can do is make a table of the values of x and y. And we could plug in 1, 2, and 3, but then it's hard to figure out what y would be if you plug those values in for x. So let's write this in exponential form. X is equal to 7 to the y power. Now it's easier to plug in the values. We can plug in values of y. So we could plug in y equals, say, 0 and 1. If you plug in y equals 0 in here, then you're going to get x equals 1. And if you plug in y equals 1, you get x equals 7. So certainly some points on the graph of y equals log sub 7 of x are 1, 0 and 7, 1. Okay, so 1, 0 is on the graph. Well, if you look at the first one here, so this is a multiple choice problem. For this one, when x is 1, y is not quite 0. It's like positive. So we know that this first one is definitely not the correct graph. Then if you look at the second one, when x is 1, y is 0, okay. And then the third one also has 1, 0, and then the third one, when x is 1, y is definitely not 0, right? The graph is going up like this. So it's definitely not the first one or the fourth one. It's either second or a third one. Well, we know that when x is 7, y should be 1. So if you look at these two, if you compare this first one, so if you look at this first one, when x is 7, now it only goes out to x equals 5. But certainly if you continue the graph, when x is 7, you will not get y equals 1. You get a negative number. So we know that the second one is not it. And for the third one, when x is 7, it does look like this red curve is going to continue and go out to y equals 1. So the third one is the correct choice. Okay, now let's do another one. Choose the correct graph for y equals log sub 1/4 of x. Well, in this case, we have a base that's a fraction. It's between 0 and 1. Let's write this in exponential form again. So we get x is 1/4 to the y power. So these two equations are equivalent, right? The x's and y's that satisfy one of the equations satisfy the other ones. So we can work with either one. And I think that the second one is a little easier to work with. So let's work with this. Well, we can certainly plug in y equals 0. And we get x is 1. We can plug in 1 for y and get 1/4. We can plug in 2 for y and get 1/16. We can even plug in negative numbers like -1 and -2. If y is -1, then x is 1/4 to the -1 power. Well, that would just be the reciprocal of 1/4, which is 4. And if you have 1/4 to the -2 power, you take the reciprocal of 1/4, which is 4, and raise it to the second power, and you get 16. So some points on the graph of y equals log sub 1/4 of x are 16, -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 1/4, 1, and 1/16, 2. The question is to look now at the four graphs and decide, okay, which curve passes through those 5 points? Well, it certainly must go through 1, 0, right? That's one of the points on our graph. And if you look at the first one, it does go through 1, 0. 1, 0 is, oops. Oh, is it not possible for me to write this? Okay. Well, the second one certainly does not go through 1, 0. The third one does, the fourth one doesn't. So the fact that 1, 0 is on the graph rules out the second and fourth one. Okay, now we have to decide between the first and the third one. Let's try 1/4, 1. Well, we can see that when x is 1/4, this graph produces a positive y value, the first one, whereas the third one, when x is 1/4, y is negative. So this is certainly not the correct one, and so this is the correct answer choice.